You're back in Bangkok now.
Yeah, back in Bangkok now.
So
Just
cool.
did a
So you
quick
went,
weekend trip.
yeah.
Nothing
So you
crazy.
went away for the weekend for your birthday then.
Yeah, yeah. KL happens to be a pretty cheap flight from Bangkok. It's like $50 a person one way or something like that, maybe 40 or something like that. Really cheap. So we can go out there for a weekend and hang out. The only thing it made me think of is how much I'd rather go out to the nature instead of going to a big city as a visa run. So I think in the future we're going to try to
Yeah,
plan like an island trip or something like that. But
man, it's so cool. You're going to Chiang Mai just for a weekend then?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We booked that. We're gonna go to Bali end of the month, so decided to do Chiang Mai for a weekend because it's really cheap, and just wanted to see. Juliana's got some family out there. Actually, her uncle is married to a Thai lady, and they have a baby out there. So got to go out and
Oh,
hang out with them.
nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool. You know what? I should be recording all this because this is all great material. So
No
I'm
worries.
gonna,
I'm
I'm gonna.
I'm recording it on my end, so hopefully it works. I can send you
Oh,
a file too.
amazing. Yeah, so you can send this clip over to me, but I'm gonna click record now.
Cool.
Uh, it says I need to request record permission from the meeting host.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to do that. Let's see. Hmm. Never done that before.
Let's just have if you click participants, does that help?
Yeah, maybe more. Make host. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Wait, I'll allow record. I just saw it. All right, cool. You should be good now.
Let's have a look.
Yeah,
Amazing. So yeah, we're recording now. That's awesome. I'm
cool.
so excited to get this on. So, all right then, I'm gonna fire through these questions. First of all, how are you today? Where have you been for the last few days?
Doing good. Yeah. Just got back from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia on a visa run birthday weekend trip and back in Bangkok now. So happy to be back.
Nice. Yeah, amazing. And what was it in the first place which made you want to lead this lifestyle where you were just traveling the whole time rather than sticking in one particular place? Do you prefer to not have a base, or do you like to have a base such as Bangkok for a few months, but then go all out and just travel? Like, what is your approach to the lifestyle?
Yeah, I guess it comes from like when I first got out of high school, I just wanted to travel a lot. I was up in, I was born in Seattle, went to high school in North Idaho, and it's kind of out in the boondocks. And I've been the type that always likes to travel and to get out and stuff like that. And I didn't really want to get stuck out there. So back then I wanted to go to California. That was my dream. And I got kind of lucky. My grandparents lived down there. So I went to Los Angeles and spent a few years on and off out there. I went back to Seattle for the summers to work and then came back down to LA because I met a lot of skateboard friends out there and that was cool. And then I went to college out there, took some business courses eventually, started my own internet business while working at home and stuff like that, was able to quit my job. And then after about a year or so of doing that, I tried to do an online try to do a brick and mortar shop. And that just didn't work out. I really felt like I had just kind of enslaved myself again back into having a day job. So I realized at that point, like what my goal was in life, and that was just to travel. So that was around 2015, and we closed the shop down. We sold our business, and then decided to sell all of our stuff and pack up our car and start road tripping around the States. And we did a bunch of road trips that summer, and that was really fun. And that was the first leg of it. And then the next year we kind of settled back down again, built another online business, and then decided at that point that we wanted to travel around the world instead of just the United States. And so we started in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and we've been traveling around ever since. It's been pretty
That's
fun.
that's incredible. What made you decide on Chiang Mai? Was it the digital nomad scene, or was there just a specific reason?
Yeah, it was a combination of things, but we definitely saw the digital nomad scene out there. There was a blogger, and he caught our attention, and so he was really talking about Chiang Mai as the hot spot to go to, and I didn't really know anything about it beforehand, so I was kind of skeptical. And I got out there, and I realized that it wasn't like a place that's all completely perfectly built up and everything. But then I realized after spending a few weeks there that everything out there is super cheap, that the culture is really chill and nice, and it's just easy to get along out there. It's safe and it's fun, and like you said, there's a lot of digital nomads out there, so it's a great scene. So it was a good time. And oh yeah, and by the way, there's tons of vegan restaurants too, so lots of good healthy food. Buddhist culture loves veganism, so it's good.
Yeah, yeah, they do. That's amazing. So that's incredible. So what was it you mainly not so much disliked about staying in the US, but what was your calling? What was it that you didn't want to have within your regular job and wanted to switch to this lifestyle? What was the kind of calling? Was it just your intuition?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of the type of person that just kind of goes off of what I feel like doing at the time. I definitely work really hard to build a lifestyle where I'm free. And I think that was one of my main things, is that when I was in Los Angeles, I was working a day job and I had an office sales position, inside sales. So I worked in a cubicle for like 5 straight years. And it doesn't feel like freedom, and it sucks. And I mean, that's not the life I wanted to live. So I realized at that point that I wanted to, do more things and actually go the places that I saw on YouTube and stuff like that. And so I just realized that like the only way to do that was to start an internet business, something that was, where I make money passively enough to where I can serve people without having to be in any certain location, but still active enough to where I'm getting paid directly for it. And so e-commerce and dropshipping ended up being the road to that. I didn't even really discover it. I was actually told about e-commerce through a buddy of mine. And I just kind of got lucky. I mean, at the time I was just thinking to myself, like, if I find any opportunities, I'll just say yes to them, because obviously there's nothing else really going for me. My family is not full of entrepreneurs. My friends were not entrepreneurs. So I just really got lucky. I mean, people came into my life because I was talking a lot about what I wanted to do, and I just took advantage of that. So ended up working out pretty well.
That's incredible. It's like, would you say that you held a vision for yourself? You just imagined yourself somewhere before you were even there, or you knew you were going to be there. You knew you were going to be the person that was going to travel. You knew that you were going to be the person who wasn't going to work a strict 9-to-5 job. You knew you were the person who was going to be more of a free spirit. And because you knew it before it happened, the right people came into your life at the right time. The right situations came into your life at the right time, and things have kind of planned out. Have there been anything which has stalled you along the way that had made you think maybe this isn't the right thing for me? Or did it just feel like a natural progression? Like, I can go out there, I can create the life I want. I can have an amazing, amazing life doing exactly what I want, doing what I want every day, working for myself. Like, was there any reservations along the way, and were there any valuable lessons you had to learn?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing for me was figuring out how to do it all and make it consistent. Because like in the beginning, it's very inconsistent. Having to find mentors, having to understand marketing, it's difficult. It's a long journey. It wasn't easy for me in the beginning, because if you're not raised in an entrepreneur family where they're always talking and marketing and doing marketing, nothing, makes sense at first about business or entrepreneurship. You kind of have to learn from the ground up. So yeah, definitely in the beginning there were reservations, but I knew that no matter what, that I wanted to live that 4-hour work week lifestyle, which I read that book back in 2011 or something like that, 2010. And it kind of blew my mind. I was thinking, like, you can actually make money on the internet in the US and then travel the world to places where you can live on, like, I don't know, probably a fifth of what it costs to live in the US. And also your money goes way farther and stuff like that. You do cool stuff, eat amazing food, whatever, do things. And obviously still make money back in the US. So you're making money, US dollars, spending money in like Japanese yen or Thai baht or whatever. And you get to keep more of the difference. He calls it location arbitrage in the book. And I thought that was the coolest concept. And I still didn't really like grasp it until way later. And sometime in 2016, where it finally started clicking to me that just because you're traveling to a foreign country doesn't mean you're going to get like abducted or, it doesn't mean that you're going to get like kidnapped and held for ransom. I mean, I think so much of what we are subjected to growing up is the media news about how scary it is in places like Mexico and how terrible it is, what happens to tourists out there and stuff like that. And the media, it kind of like, especially like any kind of news organization or outlet, especially the more conservative ones, like to kind of just do fear-based media. And so growing up, of course, my parents would watch a lot of the news, and that's what was ingrained in my mind. And then finally I had to ease off and completely cut that out of my life, because I realized that was holding me back. And then, when I did that, I just started watching channels of people that are talking good things about stuff. I started watching YouTube videos about people that were showing like how low the prices were and how safe it is and how fun it is out there. And then at that point, my mindset totally shifted. But yeah, it was definitely a long process. It didn't happen overnight.
It's so true. It's so true. Sometimes I'm somewhere public because I don't watch the news in my house. I don't read newspapers. I don't look at BBC News on my iPad, anything like that. But when I'm at the gym and they've got the news on the TV, it's just radiating like negative energy because they know that's what people want to hear. They're putting stuff out there, like, and we do have this collective consciousness where we're all living in fear and we're all doing our 9 to 5 jobs because of fear, because we think there is no other way to do it. We're all doing things that we don't love because we're too scared to realize that we can do what we love every single day. And no one really realizes that until they actually have a big thing. And I think that probably happened to you with the fact that your first couple businesses maybe didn't work out because it was actually life saying to you, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to go elsewhere, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's crazy how that works, but if you just keep an open mind with things, like, and you go the direction that kind of the universe sort of pushes you or pulls you, or just sort of, it's funny, like, yeah, like you said, opening things, doors open for you, and if you decide to walk through them, your life can change. So you just have to kind of keep an open mind. Like, that happened twice to me that I can think of that really changed my life, where I was working at the same job in a warehouse, actually, because it's a distribution company. So they have a warehouse and they have a sales department. And I was working in the warehouse for the first few years I was there, doing really good and excelling in my position. And I took over their receiving department and handled their returns. And I was working a lot with the salesman at the front counter. And the manager came to me one day and said, "Well, we just fired the salesman. We actually need to get a new salesman. We want to move somebody up from the warehouse who knows the part numbers and who knows the product lines, so we don't have to train somebody fresh again." And at first, I had a lot of reservations because I knew the warehouse is what I knew. I was really good at it. And I didn't really want to move into a position where it was scary and I didn't know what I was doing. But at the same time, I had a good feeling about it. I knew that that would lead towards the dream life that I was really hoping for. At the time, my dream was just like, yeah, I want to skate every day in Los Angeles and, have a job so I can pay the bills. That was my dream. But I knew there was more to life than that, and I wanted more. So I went ahead and just said yes. So that was a
Yeah,
door that opened for me. And that was amazing.
that's awesome. I think the next bit, because we kind of skipped over the kind of start of the podcast, which would be what you were doing and why you left it. I think what I'll do is I'll chop this bit out and I'll shove it at the front. So could you just give us a brief background, Trevor, on what your kind of, sorry, I'll repeat that. So man, can you give us a quick background on what it was that happened when you first graduated from high school, what you went through, and what led you down the road to finally decide and follow your intuition and say, I really want to travel. I want to be my own boss. What were the things that you went through? Did you get particular jobs which made you take a hit and made you say, I want to go out and live on my own terms? Or was it something where the job was fine, but you just thought it's not for me? What was the big thing, or what was the big transition which you went through? And how did you get down to the point of just finally saying, businesses are shutting down, I'm going to hit the road, me and my wife are going to have an amazing free life?
Yeah, so it was an amazing time in my life. I didn't realize at the time, but I was learning about business as I was working my job. So my job was, at the time around 2012, was doing sales in a place where they were a wholesale distributor for products. And so my customers were businesses, and my customers were locksmiths, because it was a distribution company for security systems. And so I would talk to these guys all day long. It was small locksmiths, it was big businesses, it was big security companies. And there was a few select people who actually had online businesses for selling locks. And I thought, what the heck are these guys doing? They don't have a warehouse. They don't have even a locksmith license. How in the world are they selling these things online? Because I would take their orders and they would always tell me, make sure you send this order out, drop ship it, and drop ship it blind. And I thought, like, okay, at first, what the heck does that even mean? So they explained to us in the warehouse that means you take the product and you put the end consumer's label on it, not the shipping label to go to the company we're selling it to, but the shipping label goes to the customer's information that they gave us. That's called drop shipping. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. I wonder why they would do that. I think I've done similar things with like Amazon, where I've had things sent out to like my friends as a gift or something like that. So that kind of makes sense. But then they call it blind drop shipping. I thought, why would they do that? And what they do is they actually remove the label or the upper left-hand corner of the shipping label where the lot company that I worked for's information is. So it looks like the package came from the person who sold it, which is interesting. And I thought, okay, this is a kind of a cool thing. These guys are selling these products online and we're just shipping to their customers, and the customers think it came from them. That's amazing. And these orders started coming in like crazy. This one company started bringing in probably 10 to 20 different orders every single day. And some of them were smaller and some of them were bigger. And they were on average between like 100 to like, I don't know, up to $1,000 or more sometimes. And that's wholesale cost. So I'm sure they were selling it for hopefully 20, 30% more than that at least. And it started opening my eyes to the whole business model. And what happened was I started talking about it a lot. And I talked about it with some locksmiths that would come in, and they were like, hey man, what do you think about starting up a side business where we do the same kind of a thing and you just ship the stuff out, from your company when we get orders? And I thought, yeah, that's kind of cool. But don't you think it's a little bit of like what do they call that when, you have incentives coming from two different places? So I thought, it's probably not going to work out like that. But what if I did start a business like this in a different industry? And so that got me thinking about skateboards, because I'm a skateboarder. So I thought, I was like, why can't I drop ship skateboards? So I go online, I try to find skateboard drop shippers, and there really weren't any. The only thing I could find was these gigantic distributors that, charge you a bunch of money, and the margins just aren't there. And so, I was looking around for more products, and then I met this guy, and the guy mentioned fixies, which I didn't even know what a freaking fixie was back then, but it's just like it's a fixed gear bike. And I thought, okay, these are cool. They're trendy right now. Around 2010, they were really blowing up, and I love riding them. So I actually, back then, I hadn't even heard of what it was. I had no idea. I've ridden bicycles all my life. But yeah, so he mentioned that. We actually found a manufacturer in LA, and we got an account with them, a wholesale account, just like a bike shop would, and we ended up being able to sell them online. I don't sell them online anymore directly. I do affiliate marketing with them, but yeah, they've been trending for a long time, and they're really popular and stuff like that. And that is where we started. So we started with that product. We found some success. I built a little website. I started using eBay, but I started using a separate like website builder. And then eventually I turned to WordPress and WooCommerce, and that was cool. And I mean, literally the story goes on from there, because that was back in 2011, 12, and I started. It's been 6 years now. And like, we've evolved our businesses so many different times since then. It's been wild. It's been crazy. That's how it all started though.
That's amazing. And it's kind of like all the synchronicities and the situations which came into your life primed you for what you're doing now. And it just got you to the point where you were working out of a warehouse, you were working as a salesperson, then you were working, e-commerce and selling your own sort of things from your California base. And then it became to a time where you were like, actually, I can do this anywhere in the world. And it was like, you just got to the point where it's like, what is the point in staying still when you can be dynamic, you can be moving? So what is it that you do now exactly? Can you go into that a little bit?
It's the same stuff. It's just a completely different product, completely different target market. And I'm also actually teaching what I do now online through a website I built called E-commerce Paradise. So my idea there is that I want to be able to set other people free of the 9-to-5, just like I've been able to. When you're out here and you're a digital nomad, it can kind of get lonely sometimes, just because a lot of the digital nomads that are out here don't have the same perspective as you do. So, everybody does their own thing. Some people are out here for a short term. Some people are out here for a long term. Some people do freelancing. Some people have businesses. And everybody's into their own thing. So just because you have a digital nomad thing in common doesn't mean you have other things in common. Some people, like, I've met digital nomads that are skateboarders, and I've met a lot of digital nomads who have nothing to do with skateboarding. So I decided to take it upon myself and actually go out and start teaching and coaching people all across the world, because I can't really teach and coach digital nomads per se, because they already have their perspectives on what they are doing and stuff like that, and they're already down that path, which is perfectly fine with me. And that's not really my target customer. My target customer to teach and help is somebody who is in my position back in 2010 or 11, where they are working sales or some sort of a marketing job or managerial position, but they aren't getting paid enough and they don't have enough time to spend with their family, because those are the same reasons I wanted to get out. And there's tons of people like that, especially in the United States, where all you're doing is you're spending all your money or going into debt, and you just want out because you want to have time to spend with your family. You don't want to have to put your kids in daycare every day and come home and have a couple hours at night, and that's it. And, people, if you're willing to sacrifice a few months of your time and get rid of TV and get rid of all the other distractions and build an online business, you can potentially start an income that will replace your 9-to-5 job. And whether you work from home or travel the world, whatever you want to do, you can meet those goals with that income. And that's the idea, is the becoming financially
Anyone can do it. Would you say that just anyone can do this? Like anyone, if they set the intent and they want to do this, they can do it? Would you just say that?
Honestly, it takes a lot of determination. It takes persistence. It takes the willingness to learn every single day. It takes the willingness to sacrifice entertainment every single day in exchange for education. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. So no, I wouldn't say everybody could do it. I would say only people who are willing to make sacrifices and willing to, push through the tough times can actually do it. And yeah, it does take a special type of person to do that, honestly. A lot of people are like, well, anybody can do it because, no experience necessary, BS. Honestly, for me, it took years because I didn't come from a marketing background. I went to college and I took courses at a community college. And I sat there in class every single day and I learned, and I read all these books, and I read and listened to tons of podcasts and audiobooks. And I've listened and read the same books like more than 15 or 20 times, just because that's how many times it takes to actually grasp this kind of information and marketing stuff for somebody who didn't grow up in a marketing world. I mean, they don't teach any of this stuff to you in grade school. They don't teach it in high school. They don't teach it to you in college unless you go and apply for those courses. So if you want to start something like this, you're going to have to be willing to go out there and educate yourself. It's all about self-motivation and self-education, honestly.
Wow, that's cool. And we kind of touched upon this before, but so was it 2015 when you finally said, I want to start traveling? And how many places have you been since? And what was it that made you decide on those places in particular? Asia, was it kind of the cheaper lifestyle, or was it the weather? Because you were in California before. So let's just talk a little bit about your travels. And I mean, if people go onto your Instagram, they'll see you're just going to these amazing places in Bali and incredible places all over Asia. And you're also traveling the US, going snowboarding every month. You just got complete free spirit lifestyle. Do you just go places based on what you can afford at the time? Or is it more, I just really want to go there, and it'll work out, but you have a plan for yourself where you're going to be working the whole time, obviously?
Yeah, that's more like what it is. I mean, honestly, I'm just I'm young at heart. So I never wear suits. I don't, my daily outfit is like a tank top and board shorts and flip flops, or skate shoes if I'm going skating that day. So yeah, the places I've chosen so far are because of the ease of entry, the safe culture, the cheap prices, and friendly people. So Thailand was on the top of that list for sure. We found so many different websites and blogs and YouTube channels talking about it so much that we came out here. And sure enough, I mean, the culture is just absolutely amazing, incredible. You can get food out here for less than $5 a meal. You can get massages out here for less than $10 for an hour or two. And, you can go see movies for $5, new releases. You can walk down the street at 1 a.m. in the busiest section of Bangkok and not be afraid of getting mugged or anything like that. The culture is so safe out here. And I think there's even then there's media telling people that it's scary in Bangkok and people are dying. I remember reading about this stuff before I came out here. I thought, oh, Bangkok's going to be a crazy place. We better go to Chiang Mai. And then we're in Bangkok and I'm just like, God, it's just like a bigger version of Chiang Mai. I mean, really.
It's so true. At Christmas time, I was going to go to the Dominican Republic, but my intuition and a load of synchronicities led me to stay in Miami. I was like, I don't want to go to the Dominican Republic. I want to be in Miami. And everyone was like, are you going to be okay? Are you going to be okay? Oh my God, it's so scary. And because of jet lag, I woke up in Miami every single morning at 3 a.m. and I went for a run along the beach. And I never, ever, ever got hassled by any homeless person, any mugger. And if anyone spoke to me, they were drunk anyway. So I would just run away from them. There was nothing to be afraid of when you're traveling. It's all about being confident in yourself as well. If you keep saying to yourself, I'm weak, I am scared, I am going to get mugged, I am at a high risk of getting mugged, you'll probably get mugged. But if you say, I'm going to be fine, it's all in your mind. You create your own reality. If you say, I'm going to be fine, I'm going to be safe, this is a safe place, I'm in a safe spot, you're going to be okay. And that's what's really, really important. Now, I just want to know, do you have a process when you're setting a goal, somewhere you want to go, somewhere from where you are now to get to where you want to be, or particularly maybe traveling to a particular place or growing your business to a particular place, do you have a specific process? Do you write things down? Do you meditate? Do you set manifestations? Do you write something on your wall? Do you have a whiteboard? What's your kind of process?
Man, yeah. So writing things down has definitely been what I've been doing for a long time. I use just the Notes app in my iPhone mostly, and then on the computer. And I use the little checklist marks. And I've been doing this for so long. I mean, literally, I go back through my notes and I think to myself, it's crazy how much I've written down over time. I could probably publish like 20 books with all the notes I've taken of things I want to do and stuff like that. But the truth is that, like, when you just sit down and you visualize things, you can manifest them into your life. The trick is first step is figuring out what you want to do. And then the next step is visualizing yourself actually doing that. Right. And then the third step is take action to get there somehow. And if it's a tiny little step, whatever it is, but the action taking process is usually the most difficult thing for people because it requires a little bit of fearlessness when it comes to making a choice. And so, like with travel, for instance, being a digital nomad, there's no like set reason we go anywhere at any certain time. It's just literally like, I want to go here. Here's a date that would work. These airline flights are affordable, you know, and whatever. Let's just throw it out there and see what happens. This sounds like it would be fun. Let's just do it, you know. And like we just booked our trip to Bali, and I just booked an Airbnb for the month, under $500 for the entire month, right there in Seminyak. So it's around a bunch of skate parks and beaches and all that stuff. And then I decided I wanted to go to the Philippines because Bali gives you 30 days exemption on arrival. You can upgrade to 60, but it's kind of a pain. You got to sit in line and pay some money for that. So 30 days, you get there, it's free. And flights to the Philippines and back were only $150 per person one way. So ended up being $600, or was it? Yeah, 600 total. But the cool thing about that is that we used a credit card that gives us $325 in yearly travel credits. So we got it for half price. But so the tickets, I mean, I just looked this up on Skyscanner because I was like, what the heck not, you know, like see what it would cost. We fly to Manila and then we can fly to Puerto Princesa, Palawan, which is where El Nido is, which is like the most beautiful place on earth. And then fly from there down to Cebu, which is surrounded by little islands that are incredibly beautiful and diverse for scuba diving. And then fly back to Bali from Cebu. And within probably 10 or 14 day period, we'll have visited like 8 or 10 different places, and it'll just be like a whirlwind of wild craziness and get back. And it's going to be super cheap. Lodging out there is super cheap. We do a lot of credit card training and travel hacking so that we can get really cheap hotels that are still really good values and stuff like that. So that's been working out really well for us. And we signed up for a concierge service called Mile Method. And what he does is he actually searches the best credit cards to sign up for every 3 to 4 months for us. And then we sign up for them and we get approved for them because we have a business, we have really good credit and long-standing credit. And then we get all their bonus points and we spend the bonus points, and then we usually cancel the cards before the first annual fee is due. So even though all these cards are getting canceled, we're still getting new ones all the time, and our credit score is really high and it's working out really well. I was super skeptical at first about how it would work. I thought we would get in trouble or something, like, you know, isn't this stuff like a scam or something? But no, it's not. It's perfectly legal, especially if you live in the United States and you have a US passport and a social security number. You can apply for all these bonus cards and get free travel. Basically, it's amazing. So
that's so cool. Yeah, I was going to touch on sort of all the Amex points and stuff that I see you using. You can use them, but that's a fantastic idea. You know, if there's a way that you can get rewards and it will help in your travel, then why the hell not? I mean, to most people, they'd be like, oh, that's more hassle than it's worth, getting a new credit card every 4 months and then getting the reward points. But, you know, it pays off. It gives you a roof over your head. It probably takes you 5 minutes to apply for a card, and it arrives, and then you spend some money on it or whatever, and you get your reward points, and then you book a hotel with it. I mean, the actual process of that probably takes about 20 minutes in total, doesn't it? And, you know, then you get the freedom. So you've kind of integrated that into a part of your business, haven't you? Just using the credit cards and using reward points as a way to spend money in order to make money. And that's probably another thing. I think there are overhead costs with every business, and I'm finding that out as a personal trainer as well. You do have to spend money to make money, but me and you aren't particularly money driven. We are freedom driven. We're driven by the fact that we want to be able to go where we want, when we want, and we want to be able to say, look, I want to go to Florida next month. I'm going to Florida in 2 weeks, you know, and you want to say, I want to go here at this time and I want to skate at this hour of the day. I don't want anyone telling me that. It doesn't matter how much money you're earning. You could be earning $1,000 a month. You could be earning 500 a month. You could be earning 10 grand a month. But as long as you're able to get those flights to where you want, as long as you're able to get that rice and tofu on your plate, as long as you're able to go and skate whenever you want, like for me, go to the gym, go for a run, that's all that matters, as long as you got that freedom. And would you say that's the same for you? It's not about having millions in your account. It's about just living life on your own terms.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, the more money, more problems, you know.
Yes.
You gotta pay more taxes when you make more money, and
God, yes.
you
That's
have
what
a
I
lot
said.
of things to manage. So.
I said that. I used to work in the finance industry and I'd see how much, tax goes. And so when I became a personal trainer, I was like, I don't really even want to earn that much over the UK tax threshold, because the more I earn, the more I have to pay. There are some weeks I'm really happy to eat rice all week if it means that I work less but can go where I want. So would you say that you set your intent for life based on what your intuition is telling you? Or would you say that it's your purpose? Or would you say that you do things because you think you should do them? Or is it just strictly coming from what you want to do, you truly, truly want?
It's changed a little bit over time. I think back 5 years ago, it was more about just what do I want to do? And it was all about, me and my self, centered goals and stuff like that. It's changed a lot. Ever since I started this membership site to help other people, I've changed a little bit in my goals and my purpose in life. And now I wake up every day and I think to myself, how can I make videos to help other people with this? Because I'm 31 years old now. I'm not 24 years old. It was different back then. Back then it was just like, I want to escape. I want to live the life of my dreams. Me. I want to go here. I want to go there. This is awesome. And now it's like, what is the purpose behind all of this? Like, I now have the freedom to travel the world wherever the heck I want to, do whatever I want to all day long. Like literally, this is the only thing that I had planned today. Everything else is just like, am I going to build my business, or am I going to like film more videos or go skate? Like, but now that I think about it, I'm thinking to myself, how do I want to have my life set up in 5 years or 10 years? And what kind of a difference do I want to make on society? So, I think that happens, like evolving into your 30s and 40s as a human being. I think we start to realize like what is the meaning behind our life, and what purpose do we want to have? And I had sort of like a midlife crisis about 6 months ago. It felt like that anyways. And I was thinking to myself, like, I've been planning this freaking membership site out forever, the last 2 years. And I hadn't actually taken much action on it. I've done things, but I've torn it back down because I thought it wasn't good enough. And I had all these thoughts of like, not believing in myself and stuff like that. And eventually I really had to get over the fact that, yeah, I was going to piss some people off. Yeah, I was going to step on some people's toes, on my mentor's toes. And what I had to realize is that was okay. And that they actually kind of want that of me in a way, because you start as the student in life, but then eventually you do have to evolve and become the teacher. Because there are more people out there that your mentor won't be able to help as well. So now I have this purpose. I want to help people. And so I found a path for that. I've carved a path, and I've created something new that I think is better than what's out there. And I'm marketing it, and I'm getting students. I already have 5 students in the class, which is great. It's a huge start, and they're paying me monthly for not just the course, but also for one-on-one coaching. So I get on them with a call just like this, and I walk them through the store. In fact, one of my students happens to be in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I was out there for the weekend. So I wrote her and I said, hey, you want to do the meeting in person at a Starbucks? And she was totally down, and we met up, and I went over her store for a whole hour and helped her, optimize it to get more conversions. And I'm really excited for her to see, because, it needed a lot of work. And so with all the stuff I told her to do, I'm sure she'll find more success. And it feels good, like helping people truly does feel right. I know with you with personal training, you're helping people like get healthier and build more muscle and live a happier life. And that feels great, doesn't it? I mean, it's amazing, right?
It's the best thing in the world, being able to help people just feel good about themselves. And also it's the best thing in the world, making people realize that life doesn't have to be this stressful, complicated thing. Life can be this thing where you live it on your own terms. And yeah, we all do have to take responsibility for our own life. But when we realize that we're going to take responsibility for our own life, and we have a vision in our mind, and we say, I want to go and do that. That is my purpose. That is completely in alignment with me. The right people come in at the right time. I said, I want to help people become vegan, which we'll touch on in a minute. I want to help people become healthier. I want to help people feel really good in themselves. And the first 4 or 5 clients I got were all people who were happy to go vegan or who wanted to go vegan, and I attracted the right people. And you had this with your student in Kuala Lumpur. You put out to the world, I'm going to, start teaching people. I'm going to get in touch with people who I can help. And those people did come to you because you advertised, you set the intent, you said, I want to meet these people, I want to help these people. And the people who needed your help came to you because of that. And that was amazing. And it feels like you really do what feels right to you, and you do what you think can benefit others that you love doing. So there is just a no-lose situation. That is one thing I always think about. I think we're all in a no-lose situation as long as we're doing what we actually love doing, and as long as we're doing something which we know can benefit us, benefit other people, that we can create energy from, we can create in the form of money or in the form of friends or something like that. And that's just incredible. I mean, it's just amazing that we all kind of have our own little purpose and that we can all follow that and we can all do that. And I'm really happy that you're doing what feels right to you, because it's just, I can't imagine you as a salesperson in California. And it's maybe because I met you in Chiang Mai skateboarding or something, but there is like no way I can imagine that of you, because that's just not your thing. And it's the same way that I used to work in real estate and finance, and it's just not my thing. I was like you, I did have to wear a suit. And when I quit those jobs, I put my suits on eBay, and I said, look, even if someone dies, even if one of my best friends get married, I'm not putting the suit back on. I'm going to that wedding wearing chinos, okay? Like, I'm not gonna wear a suit anymore, because that is not me, and that is not something that I want to put upon myself to please other people. And you're the exact same. That is not where we're going. So I want to just touch about, it was incredible because I went to Thailand to meet other vegans, because it's a great vegan community out there. I went to Thailand because I wanted the great weather. I wanted the Thailand because it is a very, very free country and people live life on their own terms. And that's just funny that one of the first people I meet is you, who is also a vegan skateboarder. What led you down that path? I know that your wife is literally the vegan goddess. So, like, what it kind of hurt?
Okay, so back in 2012 or 13, I realized my health was going down the wrong road. Working my day job, I was working around a lot of Latino guys, and they like to eat meat. They like their carne asada. They like their, chicharrones. They like their, it's so much nasty stuff. Yeah. It's just gross to think about. And I used to eat a lot of that stuff because I didn't know any better, because, I was brought up in a family that drank milk and ate a lot of cheese and, ate a lot of chicken and steak, and and ham, like you were brought up in a family that's what they know is nutrition. That's what you grew up thinking. And at some point I started having really bad heartburn. I was eating meat, like steak, every single day because I was broke, and I didn't know what else to eat. I didn't have any nutritional education. So it's funny how, like, I say I was eating steak, but we literally had a grill in the warehouse, and I would go and buy these like really cheap, like, carne asada packets at the grocery store for a few bucks, and I'd grill it up every lunch. Because honestly, I just didn't know about plant-based nutrition. And so somewhere around 2012, it started getting so bad that I realized I needed to make a change. And so we started looking online to different options. And the first thing I remember finding was the documentary on Netflix called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And it really did change my perspective on everything and what juicing was, because I remember doing juicing. I just didn't realize like how much of a positive impact it could actually have on you. And after watching that, we got a juicer and we started juicing every single day. And although I was still eating meat, I started slowly transitioning over and it was like less of the meat and less of the other junk food and fast food and things like that, and sugary things to juice and vegetables and more fruits.
That's really, really cool. And from there, obviously he actually mentions this in that documentary, that really we should all be eating more plant-based. I mean, you know, there are people who aren't going to go fully vegan or who aren't going to go fully vegetarian, but he does say, look, that should be like, you know, 80 to 90% of our calories, really. And I would say the same to people as well. I mean, ideally, you should be fully plant-based. There's no reason to eat meat. You can be better off completely without it, and it can benefit not only your health, but obviously the world around you. And that probably set you off on the kind of, you know, I want to do this full time. And was your wife at the time, was she vegetarian, vegan, or was she transitioning at all?
Yeah, we both went through the same thing together at the same time. I remember the day we decided to go vegan or whatever, we were cooking up some lamb chops or some shit like that on the stove at home. And I was looking at them, and I was, you know, I actually read this book too called what is it? Live, by Joel Furman. It's called Eat to Live.
Eat to Live, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that I was introduced because I went to a dentist's office, and he was actually playing the movie on the TV in the guest room, and I thought, this guy's talking some really cool stuff here. What is this all about? I asked him, and he said, oh yeah, it's Joel Furman. It's Eat to Live. You should get the book. And I thought, okay, great. You know, it's a German guy, you know, and knows a lot about nutrition. That was kind of cool. So I read the book, and wow, man, that blew my mind. Micro nutrients, like just what you don't see that's there, and the same stuff that our cells are based on, and it repairs our cells. And just, you don't really understand as a human being what happens at a cellular level in our bodies, but it's amazing what can happen when you just feed the cells with what they need to live, and that they'll repair themselves with more of
That's
that.
mad. It's like you were supposed to be in that dentist office as well. Like it all just kind of like.
Well, yeah, we were watching a video about replacing amalgam fillings, and when I was a kid, I ate so much crappy junk food that I had a shitload of cavities, and I had like all sorts of root canals. My teeth are just terrible, and I still have them, amalgam fillings all over the place. So we were looking at that up, and it turns out amalgam fillings have a lot of mercury in them, which is very bad for you in the long run for your brain. It can lead to Alzheimer's later in life. So we wanted to get that out. We went in to get a quote on that, and that was the dentist's office. We went in to get a quote on it. He was charging some ridiculous amount, thousands of dollars we wouldn't be able to spend. You know, and it all led to that. And what we just found out is right here in Bangkok, they'll do it for like a few $100. So I think I'm going to go get mine removed pretty soon. Juliana just got hers removed, and she feels great now. So
yeah,
it's a dangerous process, but they do it out here for super cheap. And that's another reason people come out to Asia, by the way, just to throw that out there, is medical tourism is very popular. They do a lot of very complicated medical procedures out here for a tenth or less of the cost it would cost in the US. So.
Oh yeah, I mean the US is just completely crazy, isn't it? We're pretty lucky here in the UK. We have like our NHS and stuff, and but yeah, that's really, really cool. It's amazing that you went through this transition. I had a similar thing with like you had with the lamb chops. I think the last time I remember eating like a lot of meat was like a barbecue. I was cooking for my family, and yeah, I just ate too much chicken. I just felt like crap afterwards, and I used to always get like a bit of stomach cramps or something like that after eating things like that, particularly the high fat foods, and I'd have to sit still for a while. And these days I can drink a big banana smoothie or something, or a big bowl of oatmeal, and within 10-15 minutes I'll be like, cool, I'm ready to get on with my day. Like, you know, I'm not weighed down, I don't have anything like that. And I think how have you found traveling whilst eating healthy as well? Like I found it's ridiculously easy in Asia, and particularly you don't even do a lot of cooking for yourself, do you? I mean, there's kind of food available everywhere in Asia, isn't there?
There is. There's markets all over the place, and it's available locally. So whatever you want. There's tons of fruit carts everywhere, and like every corner out here, there's fruit carts, and the fruit's super cheap. Like you can get a big slice of watermelon for about 65 cents US cost. It's 20 baht. You can get pineapple, you can get mango, you can get papaya, you can get they have this like Asian pear thing that they sell. They have Asian apples. It's all different fruit, and it's really tropical, and it's really delicious, and I love it. And so that's good. So that's part of my daily diet. And there's a lot of really great vegan restaurants, like we were talking about. Chiang Mai and Bangkok both have a lot of them, and they basically make amazing dishes. You know, they have all the different super foods in them and stuff like that. And yeah, they're a little bit more expensive, but you get what you pay for. You get way better quality food, you know? So we go there a lot. And as far as expensive goes, you know, you're talking like the same price as like a Chipotle burrito back home in the States for like a really delicious bowl of like fresh, you know, micro nutrient, dark leafy greens and quinoa and edamame and all these other great things, sprouts and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really, really cool. You can, for the same price or much less, you can live out here and get some amazing food and stuff like that.
It's really cool.
It can
Yeah.
be a little bit difficult when you travel to places like the Philippines where they don't really know about nutrition yet. There's a lot of junk food and meat going on out there. So you have to just be like really mindful and go to grocery stores and pack a lunch. And if you, have a trouble finding places to eat out and stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah. When I was in Asia, I'd just go to, they have Tesco there, stuff like that. I just get a big bag of rice and then I go to the market and get sweet potatoes, mangoes, bananas or whatever, avocados, I would just cook some rice, some potatoes, some avocados, have it with some green vegetables, simple stuff like that. Maybe some edamame beans, something like that. Like really, really simple, which, if you're in an Airbnb, most of the time they have a stove. Even if it's just a hot plate or something like that, it's really, really easy. It does the trick. So, and do you find that really just helps your life in general, both obviously probably intertwines that if you're eating healthy, then you probably have quite a bit of a clearer mind as well, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you eat healthy, like you were saying, you feel lighter, you feel more clear in your mind. You can think faster, you can think straighter. I really can relate it to something like smoking cigarettes, because when you're smoking a lot of cigarettes, it does sort of the same thing. It bogs you down a lot. It makes you feel like crap. It makes you need more of it. And it also makes it harder to breathe. And like when you eat a lot of meat and junk food and sugar and things like that, processed foods, basically what happens is your body gets bogged down. It goes into your stomach. Your body doesn't, know naturally what to do with it. So it has to put more energy out to process the food. And the food doesn't come with a lot of energy anyways, as opposed to plants, which actually come built in with a lot of energy because they come straight from the ground, which brings energy straight from the sun. So your body naturally gets nutrients. It's a lot easier to digest plants and fruits. And so you have to eat more of them to get the same amount of calories, but you can actually get a lot of good protein and vitamins and minerals just from raw vegetables and raw fruits. It's incredible. I used to take multivitamins all day long, thinking that was the way to get all my minerals. And then when I started reading about how you can get the same minerals and fruits and vitamins in all your fruits and vegetables, you don't have to take multivitamins. It became a lot easier to live because the diet is actually much simpler. You just have to do a little bit of research and find out what plants and fruits will equal a good healthy diet for you. And it's actually not nearly as complicated as most people think it is.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just incredible, your journey. It's so fascinating where you've gone from, unhealthy eating to healthy eating, and maybe not your ideal job to doing what you absolutely love. It's just the true story of someone who's really living life on their own terms, and they've just gone out and they've taken full responsibility for their life, and they've just created this amazing thing around them. And I'm like, it's so inspiring. And I know you're going to inspire a lot of people, and it's really awesome to have these people that you're teaching now, these students, and it's just going to grow, because I know full well if you're doing what you love and you're focusing on that, whatever you focus on grows, whatever you're grateful for multiplies. It's just incredible. And I think your kind of start in e-commerce as well, it all happened just from natural progression of your sales job to, you had these lessons that made you think, actually, I can do this from anywhere in the world, and I can do this like really, really quite easily as long as I focus my mind on it. And that's just really incredible. And really, really thank you so much for today. That was just a really awesome interview, and really, really glad we'll wrap it up there. But I'm really, really awesome. I'm going to put links to your Instagram in the show notes. I will upload this to iTunes, SoundCloud. I will drop it in the notes so people can follow you and see your journey, because I think it is just really inspiring. I think I met you obviously by chance, and that was really awesome. And I will hopefully run into you next time you're in London, or next time I'm in Asia. I know I'm going out to Australia and Bali towards the end of the year, September time. So I may run into you there. But I was incredible. Well, that's really good. And if you could send me your recording via email, or maybe put it on Dropbox or something like that, that would be really helpful, because at some point I'm pretty sure my audio might have accidentally cut out. and therefore,
Yeah.
yeah, having your version of it with maybe a different internet connection might actually really, really help. And yeah, are you doing much the rest of today?
Yeah, probably gonna head out, grab some lunch, and do some more filming, walk around a little bit, maybe skate. Actually, I have to get a new board. I in Kuala Lumpur, dude, it is so humid down there. It is ridiculously humid. I've never had this happen before, but it's so humid that I sweat so much. My shoes literally filled up with sweat, like as if I had walked into like a pool or something like that and came back out and my shoes were filled with water. And then my shoes, because they were so filled with sweat, leaked all over my board. My board got completely soaked. And so I end up with this board that's like waterlogged from my sweat and like shoes that
Oh
are so
man,
filled with sweat that like they will never dry. And so I just abandoned them at the airport. So I have to go get some new shoes and a new board now. I'm walking in
crazy.
flip-flops right now.
Oh man,
It
I
was a lot
miss
of fun.
skateboarding. I haven't skateboarded properly. Like I skate maybe once a month, but it's not properly because my knee's just been buggered from all the running.
Yeah.
Last time I did a 5-0 grind, we must have been in like Barcelona or something like that, stuff like that. Like
That's the
it's
place
just
to do it.
yeah, the best. Yeah, you can't go to Barcelona without doing that. But man, like all the stuff you're like posting, like these back lips and like
Oh, yeah.
kickflip blunts and stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, I
Yeah.
really need to get back into that. I guess it's a matter of what you're prioritizing as well.
Yeah,
If
no
you're not
worries. Yep.
prioritizing doing it,
Yep.
it won't happen. But it's just a part of your life, isn't it? Like it's so strong. How did you meet Carlos Zarazoa, by the way? You and him are
Oh
friends.
man, homies for a long time. He skates at Pedlo a lot. Well, he did a lot more back when I first met him. He's from the Valley, so that's where I was living, and I skated with all of his friends, and he skated with a bunch of my friends, and we all got together a lot. I used to skate at the same spots that like P Rod and Tori Pugwell would skate back when they were younger, and
Do
a
you ever
lot of
see
the guys.
Justin Schulte?
Yeah, I know that guy too. Yep, he's really really cool. Love that guy.
What does he do for a living these days? Because he never went pro or anything. But I know he works with Mountain Dew, doesn't he, or something? Or
Yeah, I think he's got some gig going on. I really don't know honestly. A lot of those guys, either if they're professional or have their own business, it's either that or they have some sort of a career within the industry and marketing or something like that. I know, like for instance, Colt Cannon, interesting story. Yeah, he became marketing like inside of Element or something like that, or one of the companies he rode for. He just decided to do marketing for. So
yeah, like Scott Johnston became the shoe designer at Lakai. I'm imagining Justin Schulte. I think he was a funny one because he had like such a big opportunity. He never went pro or anything. But I'm thinking he works with Grizzly. He works with Mountain Dew. These are big, high-paying companies. So he's probably completely set.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, Carlos is a really cool dude. Actually, every time I go back, I see him now because he's still hanging out with the same group of friends, and it's crazy, man. Like he is so fucking good, dude. Like, just blows your mind, like the kind of stuff he does. And yet he's just a chill, humble person. But yeah, he goes to Barcelona every summer, spends a few months out there. He's got friends out there and stuff. So I usually,
Yeah.
try
Oh,
to
he
meet him.
rides. He's a pro for Jart now, isn't he,
Yeah,
as well?
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, that's a cool company. Jart are really cool. I mean, they've been around for so long. They're underrated, definitely.
for
Awesome,
sure.
man.
Good team.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm gonna get on with my day. That was really awesome. I
Sounds good.
I think I'll stop. I think I do. I'll just